All right, to begin, let's talk about press. Now, remember, I am in the media world, so I completely understand this. And I've also been the one to get a lot of press written about me. And so I'm going to tell you guys how to first get press, how to create relationships with reporters and television stations and other media outlets. And I'll tell you the first thing that you need to do is create a relationship with a series of reporters. You're going to want to find the person on your beat. Now, a beat, I'll show you exactly what that is in just a moment. But you're also going to follow and engage with them on social, and reach out to them via email. And this has nothing to do with your business yet. So a beat, for example, is maybe someone who is writing a report on local business. It could be your local business beat report. Maybe you have an environmental company. Maybe you have a software company. Maybe you have a food company. Each one of those likely has a different beat reporter, and a beat reporter is someone who writes similar articles over and over again. Again, what I mean by that is a beat reporter is a person who likely is reporting on a very similar topic over and over again. It doesn't mean that they're focused on the same business, but they are focused on a very similar topic. So, for example, to find this, you can just Google local business. Maybe they're in the alcohol field. This is Young Veterans Brewing Company here in Southeast Virginia, written by the Virginian Pilot, which is a local newspaper. When you get here, who is the beat reporter? Well, the person who's writing this story happens to be Robin. Now, Robin, in this case, you can go and see if she writes other articles that are similar. And if she does, likely that is her beat. And she is going to be doing stories on logistics, manufacturing, or alcohol. And so you can say, okay, she is the right fit for me. And if you look at this, her Twitter handle and email are also here. And so this is a great way for you to figure out exactly where she is. So just by doing a quick search, local business, it popped up this article, which could be in your field. And by taking Robin's information, you now know who the beat reporter is. Now, as you're doing this, you're going to be collecting a ton of information about people. Make sure to give yourself a spreadsheet where you take the information about them. Last name, first name, Twitter, email. You could also do Facebook, their beat, and if they're national or local. Now, as you're doing this, I recommend starting locally so you can kind of learn the vibe and learn the copy that you're going to have and how to create that relationship locally, because then you can leverage that relationship and make it even better nationally. And now nationally, we can do this as well. Same thing, business, but we go to a national. So many times, oftentimes people think press is just from media companies. Well, I would consider HubSpot, and maybe Lindsay could write about you here too. You see Lindsay, there's her information, there's her Twitter. We're talking about creating relationships. Now, one of my favorite pieces about creating a relationship is that when creating a relationship, we oftentimes are trying so hard to push a very specific outcome first that it doesn't work. Now, think about how this works. Maybe when you were in high school or in college, you had to ask someone out first. Maybe they said yes or no. If they said yes, then you go on that date. If they said no, you learn from your mistakes. It's about, or even just with friends, it's about creating relationships with people. Here we have a frog and a snail, the unlikely pair, right? And what I want you guys to do here is understand that by producing this relationship with someone, this reporter or these series of reporters or people in the media will learn about what you're doing and will want to ask you questions and feature you later because you've helped them out so much. Now, by creating a relationship with them, you can also start liking and loving their post on Facebook. You can follow up with them and say, I love this article. Here is some deeper information on this maybe you didn't know about. By helping them, you become a source. And by becoming a source, what ends up happening is you get something very special. They reach out to you all the time. And that way you get more and more and more opportunities to be written about or stories about. Now, again, create relationship with them. This is not a Match.com kind of relationship. You want to engage with them on social, but as you would with a friend, not pushing your business or your own agenda. Reporters are inherently lazy and nosy. So you're helping them by giving them information, by creating a relationship with them, but then they're nosy, so they're going to want to have you help them. Let it happen organically. Now, you also might want to send in a press release. As you can see here, here's a template that you could use by going to 1004.com. You don't want to go into this blind. So start local and then grow from here. Now, taking this this press release and sending it to the group of people can be very difficult to accomplish. And think about how this goes. So you're at a news organization and they get a press release about what your business is doing. And you're basically like, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. And that can just be a real big challenge. So by creating a relationship and reinforcing that, when you do send them a press release, similar to the one here, you're more likely to get the conversion that you want. Now, when you're reaching out to them, you have to think of this as a game as well. And so here's an example. You could be sending this press release to press@press.com. Hey, subject line says 13,000 business owners head to Norfolk. Well, that's interesting. I'd like to know why 13,000 business owners are heading to Norfolk. So, hey, the person that you've created a relationship with, 13,000 business owners will join the 1004 tribe this weekend to share their stories of business pains to systematically grow their businesses by using proven systems. Please take a look at the attached press release, and if you have any questions, call me on my cell, Zach. They know your cell because you created a relationship with them, or you can provide your cell here in the file. Once you receive the press that you have, you want to make sure that you then leverage this. So remember how I said that the press was doing what they wanted? Well, now you have to move it back to you. So on your website, in your collateral, or even on a business card, you can put an as seen in section on your website. So these are some of the places where we have been featured, such as Entrepreneur, Inside Business, the TED Stage, TechCrunch. And so by putting this into our collateral, we are able to get people to trust us more and more quickly. Oftentimes, one of the biggest challenges that anyone that's learning about you has is whether they can trust you or not. And so by going through the series that we'll show you over the coming minutes, you'll learn that each one of these steps could be the ending moment to actually get you business. In each of these posts too, like in Entrepreneur, you want to make sure to add the link to that post as well. One thing that works well is that when they click the link, you don't have to go directly to that other page. You can do a quick write-up about it and then link to it as well. Now we want to talk about emailing your list. A lot of you have heard about growing an email list and how that can be a great opportunity to gain new business. But exactly what do you do? Well, we recently, as of I think 10 days ago, received press on an article that was written about an event that we're putting on. And this is the type of material that we send out to our people on our list. Why? Because we want them to see what we can do. We want them to know what we have been doing. And so this is an event that we're hosting in a couple of days, actually, and a piece of press by following this whole example got us to this point. And then what we wanted to do is make sure the people who are more likely our customers understood what we had been working on. Now let's think about that. Let's really break that down. So this publication, I don't know how many people read it or how many people physically receive it, because it's an online and physically received magazine or business journal. And let's just say it's 100 to make it easy. So let's say 100 people get this, right? That's not the number. It's clearly way more than 100, but 100 people physically receive this. Well, let's say the market has 1,000 people in it. There's 900, not what did I say, 100 and then 1,000. So there's 900 people that haven't seen it yet. And maybe 500 of those people are on our list. Well, I want to take that list and share this with them so that they can see it. You see how we're taking something that was built for something else or produced for something else, and now we're maneuvering it or shifting it to go down the path that we want people to go down. We're going to put together a calendar for you, a content calendar where you can physically write down what the content that you need to produce is, and then push it out. So in this case, a lot of people don't have press, and that's why we went over how exactly to get press. But let's say the first Monday of every month, you want to talk about press and how people and share with your social networks the press that you have received. Now, many of us are looking for more time. There are a couple of time saver tools out there that are based around social media. There's Hootsuite, Buffer, and Meet Edgar. You can find each of these if you go to the words that are shown here and just add .com or simply search for them. Each of these have, or the top two have a free version and the bottom one is paid, but all of them also have a premium service attached to it. And they're great tools to use to maximize your social channels, to save you time so that you don't have to do this over and over and over again. Also, a great way to use this is on Collateral. So when we were in Entrepreneur Magazine, I took that link and at the bottom of my email, I said to people, here's my name, and linked it and said, did you see us in Entrepreneur Magazine? The crazy thing about this is so many people would reply back and be like, oh my goodness, this is fantastic. So I took this opportunity where I was already talking to someone and just added basically a PS to the bottom, and it allowed people to learn more and more about us. You can also use this as collateral. And what I mean by that is like on a Facebook cover photo or maybe a Twitter, you can use that image and share what you've done. Here's a Forbes article that says things innovative people do that you don't. Now in the description, you just put the link and a little bit about the article. I want to tell you guys about a tool called helpareporter.com. It is a great tool and something that we use all the time. And it's basically to connect reporters with people who need people to report to. They need content leads and you want exposure. And so like it says here, it connects reporters with people in specialized fields to be featured in a mutually beneficial way. Dola asks, which is better, Hootsuite or Buffer? I have a paid version of Hootsuite. So if I can remember through our specifics, now we used Hootsuite first, and I think one of the biggest challenges with Hootsuite was that we were not able to schedule images and links. It would pull one of those instead. And so I think we went to Buffer, and recently we went from Buffer to something else called Meet Edgar. So as we progressively produce more content, we progressively went to a more premium service that does that. Horror is something that we get an email for every day. And it might seem like it's a pain in the butt, but it's really not. And because you can quickly go over it. And so what you're going to do here is maybe you're the journalist or maybe you're a source. So I think most people here are going to be the source. And what you'll get is a daily email, sometimes even 3 times a day, that looks like this. Now this is their headlines. And if you fit this, then you'll basically give them their information and maybe a little bit about what you could help them with. And if they like what they see, they will reach out to you and maybe put you in the article. So maybe I'm looking at number 17 here. Actually, number 18, because this one is even crazier. So the worst mistakes when buying, selling, or renovating a home. So maybe you are a realtor. Maybe you are an investor in real estate. Maybe you just bought something. Maybe you are one of those people. And so by providing value to these people, you're getting your name across. And these reporters can then do a story about you. But one of the challenges with Haro that I have found is that it does take time. And the more articles that you submit, the more likely you are to get those written about you. It's a numbers game. And so what you'll find is that a lot of people are asking for very similar information over and over again. So I would create a spreadsheet of the trends that you see so that all you have to do is go to that sheet and copy and paste what you're saying so you don't have to do it over and over and over and over again. If all you do is say, hey, pick me, it's the same as the press release. You're unlikely to get that to happen.